Naturally, I'd always known the main points and understood that if the first child were a girl, that girl would be haunted by the horse during her courtship. It is, as you can see, an extraordinary story, and though I have always known about it, I have never thought it to be anything more than an old-time legend, as I have already hinted. You see, for 7 generations, the Hisgins family have had men children for their firstborn, and even the Hisgins themselves have long considered the tale to be little more than a myth. To come to the present, the eldest child of the reigning family is a girl, and she has been often teased and warned in jest by her friends and relations that she is the first girl to be the eldest for 7 generations, and that she would have to keep her men friends at arm's length or go into a nunnery if she hoped to escape the haunting. And this, I think, shows us how thoroughly the tale has grown to be considered as nothing worthy of the least serious thought, don't you think so? 2 months ago, Miss Hisgins became engaged to Beaumont, a young naval officer, and on the evening of the very day of the engagement, before it was even formally announced, a most extraordinary thing happened, which resulted in Captain Hisgins making the appointment and my ultimately going down to their place to look into the thing. From the old family records and papers that were trusted to me, I found that there could be no possible doubt that prior to something like 150 years ago, there were some very extraordinary and disagreeable coincidences, to put the thing in the least emotional way. In the whole of the 2 centuries prior to that date, there were 5 firstborn girls out of a total of 7 generations of the family. Each of these girls grew up to maidenhood, and each became engaged, and each one died during the period of engagement. 2 by suicide, 1 by falling from a window, 1 from a broken heart, presumably heart failure owing to sudden shock through fright. The 5th girl was killed one evening in the park round the house, but just how, there seemed to be no exact knowledge, only that there was an impression that she had been kicked by a horse. She was dead when found. Now, you see, all of these deaths might be attributed in a way, even the suicides, to natural causes. I mean, as distinct from supernatural, you see? Yet, in every case, the maidens had undoubtedly suffered some extraordinary and terrifying experiences during their various courtships. For in all of the records there was mention either of the neighing of an unseen horse, or of the sounds of an invisible horse galloping, as well as many other peculiar and quite inexplicable manifestations. You begin to understand now, I think, just how extraordinary a business it was that I was asked to look into. I gathered from the records that the haunting of the girls was so constant and horrible that 2 of the girls' lovers fairly ran away from their lady loves. And I think it was this, more than anything else, that made me feel that there had been something more in it than a mere succession of uncomfortable coincidences. I got a hold of these facts before I had been many hours in the house, and after this I went pretty carefully into the details of the things that had happened on the night of Miss Hisgins' engagement to Beaumont. It seems that as the 2 of them were going through the big lower corridor, just after dusk and before the lamps had been lighted, there had been a sudden horrible neighing in the corridor close to them. Immediately afterwards, Beaumont received a tremendous blow or kick which broke his right forearm. Then the rest of the family came running to know what was wrong, and the servants. Lights were brought in the corridor, and afterwards the whole house searched, but nothing unusual was found. You can imagine the excitement in the house and the half-incredulous, half-believing talk about the old legend. Later on, in the middle of the night, the old captain was awakened by the sound of a great horse galloping round and round the house. Several times.